Hey Chocolate Muffins, Cleo of Games Never Fight here for another opinion vlog. Today's topic is, to slut or not to slut? A cosplayer's dilemma. So this is hardly a new topic. It's been brought up many times, and each time with more furor and more shaking of fists and how dare you and but they and so on and so forth, back and forth. Chaos. Every time the topic resurfaces, you hear the same old arguments, but using colorful new terminology and names. Over the last couple of years, cosplay has skyrocketed as something that used to be relegated to basement dwellers and crazy dedicated foreigners to something that almost every con-goer is familiar with, and a lot of them now take part in. There's also many more resources available to those who want to cosplay but don't necessarily have the skills to do it, such as probably the most well-known website, cosplayers.org, where you can post to a forum and ask for advice on making a costume, or simply buy costumes pre-made for you. But then there are the slut cosplayers, as a lot of other cosplayers and not cosplayers like to call them, who are overwhelmingly female, have beauty ideal bodies, and are mostly characterized by showing as much skin as possible. Some cosplayers have even built entire careers out of exemplifying this newfound archetype, Jessica Nigri and Yaya Han to name a couple. And this in turn brings an entirely new aspect into the whole argument, that of getting paid to take pictures of yourself wearing a costume more or less based off a copyright character. But all that digresses a bit from my original point. The real issue here is whether or not it's permissible by the League of Nerds, or whatever you want to call it, to go for the most skimpily dressed character designs, or worse, to take an already skimpy design and make it even more so. I am going to say this right out. I am not a fan of slut-shaming. I think that as long as you aren't harming other people or things, you should be allowed to do pretty much whatever you want with your body. And the overwhelming feeling I get from a lot of these anti-slutty cosplayer articles I've read is the expectation, or dare I say it, male privilege, that the person cosplaying should be cosplaying for other people and not for themselves. I often come across the sentiment of, a real fan wouldn't change the design. Or, I bet she doesn't even read comics. If any of these sentiments already sound familiar to you, it's because you probably already heard them in relation to the whole fake geek girl argument, if you can even call it that. And really, all this nonsense about what others expect of you if you cosplay boils down to the question, why do people cosplay? And as you'd expect, the answer is different for every person you ask. Of course, there's some common threads that I'm sure a lot of cosplayers would agree with. I know for me personally, one of the main draws of cosplay is it's a whole new world of creativity to explore. I am not a talented seamstress, and I'm so-so with a glue gun, but despite some of the negative stereotypes, I have found the cosplay world to be fairly welcoming of newbies, as long as you're actually trying. Space. Now, there is the issue of people buying their costume online and wearing it to a convention and then telling people that they made their costume, but that's more people being scumbag liars and has very little to do with the whole slut thing. And that's also a completely different topic that I could rant about for hours, but I digress. Another reason a lot of people like to cosplay is obviously they like to show their support for whatever it is they're cosplaying. Doctor Who is an excellent example. Few other fandoms can match the fervor that dedicated Whovians display every day. In the handful of years since the series relaunched, it has gone from total obscurity to you can't throw a dead cat without hitting somebody wearing a Doctor Who shirt, or hitting a phone encased in a replication of the TARDIS. My Little Pony is another rebooted franchise that, love it or hate it, you can't deny it's ubiquitous. As to how that relates to cosplay, think about it. By putting forth the effort to replicate your favorite character, and wear that outfit where you're likely to meet others in the same fandom, you are saying to everyone, I love this thing so much! Indubitably, this leads to establishing common ground, and gives you an easy in to making new friends. And one unfortunate stereotype that tends to remain true is that geeks like us often have trouble making new friends. Along the same veins, cosplaying as a character from your favorite show or game or whatever is a more subtle version of holding a giant banner over your head that says, I like this thing! Perhaps you already have lots of friends, but these friends unfortunately differ from you in what you both like and dislike. And as much as you like a TV show or a video game or book series or what have you, I'd safely say that the average person would be happier if they had a friend or three to share it with. But then we get down to the less socially acceptable reasons for cosplaying. I know this video is full of air quotes, what can I say? The number one reason that I would say a lot of people cosplay but rarely own up to is to get attention. I know, I said it. I acknowledge the white elephant in the room, but come on, let's be honest. As fun as it is to doll yourself up as a certain character, whether you made the costume yourself or bought it online, you're over 9,000 times more likely to get noticed if you cosplay as a universally recognized character, rather than an obscure character or, God forbid, an original. There are, of course, a select few individuals who stick to their guns and cosplay as original characters. Some of them might even get asked for a picture or two if they work really, really hard at their costume. But you're kidding yourself if you think you're going to get as much attention cosplaying an original character as you would if you cosplayed something from the newest anime or Joss Whedon project to go viral. And sometimes, cosplaying as a commonly recognized character isn't enough. After all, the more popular something is, the more people are going to be cosplaying from it, and therefore the more competition you're going to have in getting noticed. And if your primary directive for cosplaying is to get noticed, then this is very important. Thus, some cosplayers feel compelled to take it up a notch by slutifying their costume. Before we delve further into this, let's identify what it means to slutify a costume. 1. To remove as much material and expose as much skin as possible without going beyond legal boundaries of public nudity. 2. To use remaining materials to best enhance your physical assets, e.g. wonder bras and thongs. And 3. The step that only the most dedicated cosplayers take: acting the part. For slutty cosplayers, this means acting as you think a character wearing such attire would act. This ranges from seductive femme fatale to super kawaii girl next door. After all, the illusion isn't complete until you treat that costume as an extension of yourself and not something you just happen to be wearing. So those are some of the main reasons that a lot of people cosplay. To summarize: creativity, show support, share interests, and get attention. Notice how it's really only the last reason to cosplay that gets demonized, which brings me to another question. Why? Similar to the fake geek girl argument, how in the world is it any of your business how another person chooses to act and or dress? Nobody is forcing you to look at them. And just because some cosplayers choose to dress more skimpily than others does not mean there is a shortage of cosplayers who strive for authenticity. Of course, authenticity is often the problem for so-called slutty cosplayers, as even some cosplayers who match the source material exactly get a lot of flack for it. I mean, look at all the hatred for Slave Leia or Riku from Final Fantasy X. Ask yourself, why is it okay for an illustrated woman with a tiny waist and huge boobs to dress like that, but not someone who exists in real life? Double standard much? Anyway, my end point in all of this is, the next time you find yourself thinking badly of slutty cosplayers, try to consider that people cosplay for a variety of reasons, and none of these reasons are worthy of your condemnation. Also remind yourself that it's really none of your business. You are not some kind of crusader for the purity and solvency of geekdom, and photoshopping an insulting meme or hammering out a long-winded rant on Reddit for the approval of your fellow cis-males really just kind of makes you a self-entitled asshole. And that's pretty much my 2 cents on this topic. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll leave a comment with your own thoughts on slutty cosplayers or cosplay in general. Like if you like, share with your friends, subscribe for more opinion vlogs, and that's it. I'm out. Ciao!